Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Chancellor. Good morning, Presidents. As a Clarion graduate, trustee, and mom of a Clarion student, I just want to say thank you for acknowledging our desire to do the right thing for the universities. It certainly is important to me. At last year's hearing, PASSHE had just entered into a new faculty contract. That contract included a retirement incentive. I'm wondering if you could give us an overview of that incentive. Has it been successful? And have we seen savings from that?
Representative, I can't give you an exact number or update, but I can tell you, generally speaking, it has not had the overall impact that it was meant to have and that people thought it might have. Might chalk that up to the recession and people's lack of desire to retire at a point in their career where they are probably in the upper end of their salary making ability and benefit package. So there's probably a variety of reasons, but to my knowledge, as it's been explained to me, it has not yet manifested itself with a great return on investment. But if you will allow me, I'll go back and work with staff, and we'll get you actual numbers on what we've seen over the period of time, if that'll help you. If
you could provide that to the Chairman of Appropriations, that would be helpful too. I believe all of the members.
I will do that.
A few months ago, APSCUF, the faculty union, had released an audit which raised concerns about how the system, universities were managing their budgets and how they were making decisions about faculty layoffs. Could you give us an overview of the process that you use when making those layoffs, and how many layoffs have there been recently and how many are planned for the future?
Sure. One of the issues that I walked into was the issue of retrenchment based on timing, and so had to quickly get up to speed on both the required process as laid out in the APSCUF contract and also, perhaps even more importantly, understand what stood behind it by way of program review, viability, sustainability, and whether or not some programs could be continued or not. So I began to work on that with not only the people on my staff, but also the people out at the universities, more importantly, who were going through these issues. You've all no doubt read the accounts in the newspaper. I was, even when I was still in Florida, which were understandably full of very emotional rhetoric, because we're talking about human beings. But as I came to find out, a large part of the motivation behind what ended up as retrenchment was grounded in looking at programs that individual institutions felt were under-enrolled or perhaps had lost the impact of need behind them for the future of the Commonwealth, or a variety of other factors. And so they went through a very laborious process, a little bit different at each university, depending on the personality of the university. But at the end of the day, after speaking with, listening to, and coming up with a plan of action, how could that university pare back, provide teach out to the students who were in those programs, and meet the requirements laid out in the contract of notification and, very importantly, alternative opportunity for those who were notified that their job may be lost as a result of the elimination of those academic programs. The number that I began to read about when I was still in Florida hovered well over 100 that were being considered. I'm going to turn around and look for the quick number if you'll indulge me 1 minute, but it ended up on a system side being 44. That reason is because people, as they committed to, were going to continue to look for alternatives to maintain programs if they really wanted to keep those programs and thought they should be continued. It also includes a net out of faculty members who have since found other placement within the university or within other universities in the state system, which is the opportunity called for in the contract. As a matter of fact, the contract provides for an actual 3-year window of opportunity for people who are impacted to, again, look for another commensurate position within the university or one in one of the other 13 state universities. Now, I'm not naive. Whether it's 150 or whether it ends up being 44, it continues to be a very emotional issue for our system. But having said that, I want to assure you, we as a system must continue to examine the program array at each of our 14 institutions. We've got to do what the rest of the country is doing, especially in systems, and recognize that 14 universities offering identical program array on 14 occasions is not only inefficient, it's unsustainable in our world today. And so as we work with each university to determine what kinds of academic programs are right for that institution, and therefore for the entire system, and then therefore for the entire Commonwealth, I will report to you today that there will no doubt continue to be examination of programs that might over time need to be closed or expanded or moved. There will also continue to be the need to reorganize some existing programs to make sure they're buoyant for the future, and obviously, as we've been doing, to begin new programs that have placement opportunities for the future of the Commonwealth.
Thank you, Chancellor. We appreciate your leadership. Thank you, Chairman.